I am Okonkwo, son of a humble farmer in the tranquil village of Umueze. My father, a man of honor, raised me with the values of hard work, integrity, and respect for the gods and traditions of our land. I never imagined that my life would intertwine with the royalty of Umueze, let alone with Adaeze, the princess herself. Adaeze was a vision to behold, a woman of rare beauty with ebony skin that glowed like polished wood under the sun and eyes as sharp and deep as the moonlit forest. But she was more than just her appearance. Adaeze was intelligent, graceful, and fiercely independent, a trait that often set her apart from other maidens in the village. She was the daughter of Obi Nwakedi, a man whose authority echoed through the village like the sound of the ojin during a festival. Our paths first crossed during the Yam Festival, a grand celebration where farmers displayed their harvest and villagers danced to the rhythm of the talking drum. As fate would have it, my family had the largest and healthiest yams that year, earning us the honor of presenting them to the Obi. As I stepped forward, carrying the largest yam on my shoulder, my eyes met Adaeze. That fleeting moment changed everything. Later that evening, I found myself wandering near the palace grounds, drawn by the enchanting sound of a flute. There she was, sitting under the great Iroko tree, playing a melody that seemed to call to my soul. We talked that night, and though we came from two different worlds, our connection felt natural and effortless. But love between a commoner and a princess was no simple matter. When news of our growing affection reached the palace, the Obi summoned me. "You dare to court my daughter," he thundered, his voice shaking the very walls. I knelt before him, my heart pounding, and said, "I may not have wealth or noble blood, but my love for Adaeze is pure. Allow me to prove myself worthy." The Obi, intrigued by my audacity, decided to test me. He gave me 3 tasks, each seemingly impossible for a man of my standing. The first task, I was to wrestle Umueze, the strongest warrior in the village. Umueze was a giant of a man, known for his ferocity and skill. The match was set in the village square, and the entire community gathered to witness my fate. Though I lacked Umueze's size, I relied on strategy and agility, remembering the wrestling techniques my father had taught me as a boy. After a grueling battle, I emerged victorious, earning the respect of the crowd. Dear seekers, listen attentively as I brief you on how the fight went, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more. The news that I had been chosen to face Umueze, the village's undefeated wrestling champion, spread like wildfire across Umueze. The air was thick with excitement and whispers of doubt. Many said that no one, not even the strongest men in the village, had ever defeated Umueze in a match. The villagers gathered in the central square, eager to see how the commoner Okonkwo would fare against the might of Umueze. The match began under the scorching midday sun. The crowd chanted Umueze's name, their voices rising with each step he took toward the center of the ring. I stood on the opposite side, my mind focused and calm, my eyes trained on the champion's every movement. The earth beneath us was soft, worn down by the countless feet that had trampled the village square over the years. The signal was given, and the match began. Umueze charged forward like a wild bull, intent on overpowering me in the first move. But I had anticipated this. I sidestepped, narrowly avoiding his grasp, and used his own momentum against him. As he stumbled forward, I seized the opportunity to grab him by the arm and twist, aiming to unbalance him. Umueze, however, recovered quickly and lashed out, knocking me to the ground. The crowd gasped, but I remained calm. It was then that I remembered the wrestling techniques my father had taught me. He had always told me that a good wrestler doesn't rely solely on strength, he uses his opponent's energy to his advantage. I knew I had to outsmart Umueze, not overpower him. I rose to my feet, wiping the dirt from my face, and steadied myself. Umueze, confident in his strength, came at me again, this time slower, sensing that I was not going to be easily taken down. I feigned weakness, stumbling as though I were exhausted. Umueze took the bait and lunged forward, thinking he could finish me off with a single move. This was the moment I had been waiting for. As Umueze reached for me, I ducked under his outstretched arms and swiftly grabbed his waist. With a grunt of effort, I spun him around, using his own weight against him. Umueze stumbled and fell to the ground with a thud, the crowd falling into stunned silence. This was the moment I had been waiting for. As Umueze reached for me, I ducked under his outstretched arms and swiftly grabbed his waist. With a grunt of effort, I spun him around, using his own weight against him. Umueze stumbled and fell to the ground with a thud, the crowd falling into stunned silence. For a moment, no one moved. Then, with a cheer that shook the air, the villagers erupted into applause. I had done the impossible. I had defeated Umueze. The champion lay on the ground, gasping for breath, as I stood above him, breathing heavily but triumphant. For a moment, no one moved. Then, with a cheer that shook the air, the villagers erupted into applause. I had done the impossible. I had defeated Umueze. The champion lay on the ground, gasping for breath, as I stood above him, breathing heavily but triumphant. Umueze extended his hand to me, a sign of respect, and I accepted. The crowd, now cheering wildly, could not believe their eyes. I had earned not only victory but also the admiration of the entire village. The Obi, watching from his palace balcony, was silent for a long time before he spoke. "You have shown great courage and wisdom, Okonkwo," he said. "The first task is complete. You are truly worthy of my daughter." Dear seekers, please subscribe to this channel, The Oracle Tales, and don't forget to click on the notification button after subscribing to get you notified when we drop the next episode of Okonkwo's fate. This is the voice of the Oracle.